Invincible villains are a real mixed bag. You got your gun for hire.
The name's Kill Cannon, not gets beat up by little girls cannon.
Mastermind.
And that means you work for me until I say you're fucking done.
Deranged lunatic.
I want justice! I want...
And of course, all-powerful planet conquerors.
I am so lonely.
So, if you were to form a team of Earth's greatest villains, what would that look like? And would the heroes of the world stand a chance against them? Okay, so first, let's create some rules so the heroes don't just immediately get demolished by all the top tiers in the verse. Rule 1, no one-man army characters. That means no Viltrumites and no Angstrom, because in one case, you have a nuclear bomb, and in the other case, you have someone who once summoned 18 nuclear bombs. Rule 2, I want this team to be the same size as your standard superhero team. So let's say 7 members max. Rule 3, this will be a show exclusive team, so do not expect to see any characters from the comics. Rule 4, this will only be characters we know are currently alive in the story, or at least haven't had a confirmed death. And finally, Rule 5 is the team can't just be made of heavy hitters because the team would just come up short with poor planning if they fought the heroes. They need brain power to go with the muscle power. So first up, every supervillain team needs an army of soldiers for information, and with numbers comes power. So our first team's contender is...
I've got money!
Now, Machine Head isn't a fighter. He's a businessman of the finest quality, and he's got connections. He's got all the hired arms money can buy, and he somehow has fucking Battle Beast's number. No, Battle Beast won't be part of this team, obviously, since he would easily break Rule 1, but that just puts into perspective how good his connections are, because Battle Beast just kind of fucks around in space from what we've seen. So like, did he meet him at a bar or get his number through the order? And also, how the hell did he even get Battle Beast to agree to this? Did he say like, oh, we got this one guy with a mustache who's really strong, who might show up, and Battle Beast made the connection and saw an opportunity to fight a worthy opponent? However, he's not our only option for our power broker, because there's also...
Pain costs money, you got a long ass name.
Now, Titan has connections like Machine Head. He's honestly smarter than him, outplaying him twice, but he's got one issue. He's got a good heart. He wouldn't be okay with going through what our villain group wants to do. He's a necessary evil. He doesn't take joy in what he does. And for that reason, Machine Head will be our power broker.
Well, welcome to reality, muchacho!
Now let's talk muscle and power. And no one's got more power than...
The people murdered and the countless other lives destroyed!
Now, Powerplex killed a Mark variant. When it comes to being a group's main heavy hitter, he fits the role nicely. He's also got brains to go with his bronze, rounding him out as a good leader on the field. However, one issue, he isn't a fully bad person. Like when he escapes prison, he goes out to help save people during the cleanup of the Invincible War. But he is another thing as well.
I want...
severely mentally ill, and has a ton of unaddressed trauma. If only we had someone on our villain team who's really good at manipulating people.
I know where your family lives, and that means you work for me until I say you're fucking done.
So hear me out. Machine Head gets Powerplex to join by suggesting that if he helps them with a few jobs, Invincible will have to come after him and face him because he'll be a threat. Not to mention, I'm sure Powerplex doesn't have the best views of the heroes who help Invincible, the man he believes is responsible for killing everyone he loves. Now, I don't think he'd kill anyone, but he could help out in some battles against hero teams, so he'd still be a very valuable asset to the team. Now, we got money and power, but we still need more power. So why not have another character who went toe-to-toe with Mark? Let's bring in...
You cannot kill what I am made from.
Now, Mr. Leo's dragon form is not to be messed with. He put Mark through a hell of a fight, and as long as his main body is safe, his dragon form is immortal and regenerates. Not to mention being a former leader of the Order, he probably has just as many connections as Machine Head, if not more. But here's our first big issue. Machine Head killed Mr. Leo, at least for a bit. So how would these two be willing to work together? Well, thanks to two simple things: money and power. Mr. Leo will hold a grudge, no doubt about it, but would he be willing to push aside that much power that forming this new villain group could come with? Not to mention the profits as well. So would the alliance be shaky? No doubt about it. But let's be real, what villain group isn't a little shaky? Now, to really round out the power, let's bring in someone who knows how to use a useful power that someone else sucks ass at using. Let's bring... Now, Multipole has many uses. We're talking combat, we're talking stealth, we're talking being related to one of the Guardians who was gonna let him go after he tried to kill another member. I sense a weak link that our group can use to take down the main threat once they form. Not to mention, he has years of combat training, and unlike someone else, he will always use as many clones as he needs to do the job. Alright, now let's talk brains. Let's talk...
But is it the brave man who survives? Or is it the one who waits until his opponent is too injured to fight?
Now, King Lizard's condition is unknown, but in Invincible, unless it's shown you're dead, you're probably not dead. Now, in King Lizard's past, he wasn't much of a threat. He was kind of pathetic as a threat. But if we can get Season 2 King Lizard here, we have a real member to the team. He planned to take the whole country down by securing their nukes and waiting until half the Guardians were in space to enact his plan, only losing because Rexplode is our glorious king and he got cocky. But if we get someone who can get information like that and has experience leading a team, well, I think he deserves a seat at the table, not to mention he has his own army of soldiers to bring with him to add to the group's foot soldier force. So we got brains and some extra manpower. But we're going to need more than just tactical brains. We're going to need some scientific brains. So let's add a doctor to the team. Not only is he a decent fighter himself, but he's got a ton of minions to bring to the fight. He's got giant insects that slammed Mark and Eve around, magma men to bring up the foot soldier numbers, and he's smart as well. However, he is also insane.
You can keep the ones made of wood.
Due to the tech he uses giving him a concussion every time he uses it. But once again, that's why we have Machine Head here, everyone's favorite negotiator.
Plus now you gotta pay for the desk too. This is imported Italian maple.
I'm sure telling the doctor that helping to take down the heroes with them could make it a lot easier to push his agenda. So I'm sure he'd be okay with a short-term team-up to get rid of the heroes who have constantly stopped him from breaking down the current corrupt system. And there you have it. Now, is it unstable? Yes. But once again, what good villain group isn't held together by duct tape? So we've got brains, we've got money, we got power, and a huge force of foot soldiers and giant monsters for the heroes of the world to deal with. Now, if the current heroes fought against this team, would they win? Fuck no. They all lost to Doc Seismic a few weeks back, and Mark's biggest weakness is always getting jumped, so having to deal with Powerplex, Mr. Liu, and giant insects he struggled against? Yeah, it's over for the main powerhouse. So now that you've seen my villain team, let me know what changes you would all make in the comments below. Subscribe if you enjoyed, and check out my other stuff if you have time. And I'll see you all in my next video.